trying to bring a new lease of life to the cockpit of the van, one being the dial kit. I'm going to do a little bit of flocking around a different area. I'm not going to do the doors. I'm going to do something on the dash a little bit more. I'm going to add auto lights, stereo, that sort of thing. So I'm going to do it all in one video, nice and quick, nice and simple mods, and see you on the other side. First little mod I'm going to do is fit these dials. Just take a look at what you get in the kit. So you get 3 dials and you get 3 little fixing points. What you'll notice is that 2 of mine are shorter than the other. So if I just flip them over, I've already cut these ones down. So they all arrive like this. Now I get it's like a kit for a lot of different vehicles. So some vehicles obviously need a longer piece, but these guys need a shorter bit. So what you need to do is get yourself a little hacksaw. This one's a real cheap one from B&Q, I think. But you want to go right next to the edge. So you can see I've got this lined up in here, as close as you can to the actual dial itself. You want to take off that much. So I'm just going to get this cut off here. So you can see that I've cut off about 1 inch, and if I angle this right, you'll see it's almost flush with the edge of the dial, so the inner part of the dial here. So obviously that's the front and that's the back. Right, before you go and start popping these in, let's get the old ones out and then I'll show you how to line these up. So we're going to start with the middle one. Now a useful tip is literally to put it in the middle before you pull it out, so that you now know when the dial's ready to be fitted, this little marking on top of the dial needs to be on 2. So that'll be nice and central. Right, 3 different sizes obviously. So those 2 aren't going to fit. They're going to be for the bigger ones. So you're going to need to remove the smaller piece. Now it goes in square. There's only one way it can go in. It doesn't go in at an angle, triangular or anything like that. It needs to go in square. So you're going to need to poke this straight into the piece in the middle. Now a little tip for you to help you to do this so that you don't push it too hard, because you don't want to break this bit of kit. I've taken a craft knife, so it's like a Stanley blade, and I've literally just eased off each edge around the little square, so that when I come to push it in, it already sits in to begin with, and I can just apply a little bit of pressure until I can push it all the way in. Next step is obviously to push the dial on, and again you don't want to be pushing it too hard, you just want to be pushing it enough so that you know it's on. So let's move on to the other 2. So you need to again try and set this on something you're going to remember where it is. So I'm going for the central one. Going to remove that. Going to take one of these 2. So I've only got 2 left, so it's going to be one of these 2. Now they are both the same size. Doesn't quite fit straight in. Oh, happy, it's gone in that way. So we're going to move on to fitting this. Now, I know already, having fitted these in my previous van, that isn't going to do anything. I am going to need to pop a little bit of glue in here. So I'm going to pop a bit of super glue in there, and then I'm going to quickly get that mounted where I want it. And the same again with this side. Pop a little bit of glue inside there, squeeze that onto where you want it to be, and there you have it. There's your dials. So what you'll see straight away, that it does smarten up the dash quite a bit. So what I've done so far, and the bits that I'm going to colour code, I've taken off the trim and surrounding area around the stereo and what have you. I'm going to show you how to fit the new stereo when I get round to that. And also I've whipped off the what in the T5.1s would be the airbag for the passenger, but in this one it is literally just a piece of plastic cover, which is as simple as, if I can get my fingers back in there, just pulling it off. I've also whipped off this piece as well, which is, again, it's put in this side, but don't pull this one off. There is a screw attached on the other side, so around here, and you need to just pop this side panel off first before you pull that bit off. So I'm going to do the same on the other side and take off the bit that's going around the light switch, which is just there, and then I'm going to color code them a little bit. I'm going to just put some it's like a grey. I've done it in a previous video. I'm not going to show you exactly how to do it. I'll do a quick little demo in case you want to do it yourself, but it's called flocking. So let's get over and let's check that out. So just a real quick recap on the flocking. You want to use the glue. You want to get the glue spread all over it, and then you want to use the applicator to puff out the flocking material. So let's have a quick go at that. Right, they're all done. Let's get them back in the van. Another real quick mod we can do whilst I'm sorting out my dash is to fit a auto light kit. So just really quickly push in, turn to the middle, pull out, and then turn off, so you get rid of that annoying bleeping. So this is the new little module. Plugs into your existing loom, clipping it in, threading in this bit through into here, new little auto switch, connect it up and poke her in. And that's pretty much it for that. Now we're going to look to locate the sensor. So the sensor, if you've got one of these kits, just literally looks like that. Self-adhesive sticker on the back. I'm going to try and mount it. I'm going to mount mine right down here, just by the tweeter. To do that, you're going to need to remove this. So if you haven't removed one of these before, you need to just gently pull it out. I'll show you the clips and fixings and stuff now. So here you've got these 3 pegs. They fit into these 3 holes, and you've got some metal clips on the actual van frame itself, which connect to. So I've done that. Just going to gently feed this through here, and she should come out the top. There she is. Take off your tape, because obviously you don't want that on there. Little pulley, get rid of that. And what we're going to do now is just give the dash a little wipe down, then I can just peel and stick the little sensor. So a little tip for putting this back on is to remove the 2-meter box connection, cable, top mount thingy, so that you can get this bit in the right place. Put this on a little bit easier, he says. Struggling. Sounds a bit brutal. I am trying to look after her. She's got a little bit of age on our side. So that's in there. You can pop the tweeter cover back on. Oh. Happy days. So let me just spin you around here. And we got the sensor just there. Right, this is one of the little bits that I flocked, as it were. So I'm just going to clip the light adjuster for the clocks and stuff back in. I'm going to pop, oh, she hasn't quite gone in. There we go. I'm going to pop that back into place. And then I've got a little screw in here, which goes on the side. And I'll get that screwed in, but you get the gist of what I'm doing. So there's a little bit of tidying up here, a little bit of flocking, nice little auto light switch. I've flocked around here too, and on these little bits. Little quick one for setting up your auto lights. Pop your key in the ignition, turn it so your dashboard lights up, put it in the auto part, turn it to where you want it to go, turn it back to auto, and you get a little bleep. Job done. Right, let's move on to getting the head unit installed and running a cable for some rear speakers. So what you want to do is remove this little yellow tab and put it somewhere very safe. Right, rear speaker positive is number 7. So we want to pop this in here and push it in as far as you can get it. And then rear speaker negative is number 8. And again, you want to push that in as far as you can get it so it clips in. Then you want to secure this yellow tab back inside. Now this is just so these guys don't come out. Done. So that is my positive and negative for my 2 rear speakers. So let's just quickly show you where the wiring went. So we've gone underneath behind the glove box again, back up the A-pillar, underneath the headlining. Now all of this is going to come out when the pop top gets in, so I've literally just threaded it through that gap for now. And you'll see that I've joined the main loom all the way around, and you've got the rear left coming down here and the rear right coming down here. Okay, let's have a look at installing the head unit. So this Pioneer unit itself comes with a metal cage. So what you need to try and do is make sure that all of the cables you're going to need are threaded through the cage. So that's my DBL, DAB aerial, that's my USB, that's my other aerial. Right, let's make this a little bit easier for ourselves. I'm going to attach this first. So that can get threaded through. Also I've got my microphone cable. Right, so you don't want to just jam it in. You're looking to try and get it in nicely and then just evenly apply a bit of pressure for it to drop inside, and try and get it down as low as you can get it. Let me just bring you in here so you can see what I'm doing. So there's lots of tabs around the outside of the actual unit, and I believe I might be able to push a couple in. One being this one here, a tiny bit, yeah, and this one hopefully, yeah, a tiny bit. I wonder if there's any, none around the bottom. this one here, which then means hopefully match it up on the other side. Brilliant. So that's the caging. See, this is the back of the head unit. So I'm going to start with my dab aerial in here. So that's connected on there. I've then got my microphone lead. I've also got the USB. It's like a USB extender. You could probably plug your iPhone or whatever straight into that and have a little mounting point where the aerial can connect or whatever somewhere. But I've just literally added mine into one of these little switch boxes down here. Let me just put that one back in. Right, that's that done. Right, now the main aerial, like the vehicle aerial itself. Let's get that in. It's a bit of a squeeze. And now we're going to plug the actual loom in for the head unit. Right, all of these cables, however, can't just sit like that because you'll squash them all. So, I'm just going to, for now, for the purpose of this video, I haven't finished with my install. I'm just going to literally get these cables tucked away so that I can pop this head unit in to show you quickly. Just try and keep out of the way. And then we're just going to gently apply pressure to squeeze it in. Nice and snug. Right, this one obviously comes with a fascia plate. So we're just going to pop this on. Not that way. It needs to clip in. That way. Let's give it a little wipe over. Bit of dust. Dust, anybody? And that's that. So, quick vid. We've got head unit in, we've got some dials. We've done a bit of flocking around the dash to make it look a little bit smarter. Gone across here too, and this little panel. We've also popped in the auto lights, which is obviously the dial there, and fitted the sensor down the bottom. And we've flocked this little bit too. So that is it for a video on trying to update my dashboard. I'm trying to give it a new lease of life. I'm going to be looking into getting a steering wheel. I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to go for yet. But if you've already put a steering in yours, if you've already put a steering wheel in yours, if you could just comment below perhaps which style of steering wheel you've gone for. I quite like maybe the Volkswagen Up, but we shall see. So this is Tom, this is Tdubz. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.